Welcome guys on Donkey 335 channel. Today we are going to be talking about a really talk through theme. That's German tanks in Second World War. Many people talked about them already. I guess I'm going to be one of them as well. So let's start with the first one. The Panzer I. This was the tank that that started German tank industry, restarted it. Before Germans didn't had anything, so for the first try at a tank, even if in my opinion isn't really a tank, it's more of a tankette. In my book, a tank has to have a cannon. Panzer I didn't. Had two machine guns, two MG13 machine guns. Weighed about 5 tons, 5.5 tons. Was powered by a 60 horsepower engine. Top speed 37 kilometers per hour and about 200 kilometers. Combat range. Had 2 crew members, and it was the majority of the Second World War. It was used for training to a certain extent, for anti-partisan operations, but majority of them for most of the war after the beginning ended in as training vehicles, or their chassis were used for self-propelled guns, for anti-aircraft guns and things like that. It was used also for light recon. It was used by the Germans, by the German volunteer, as much as a volunteer you can be in Nazi Germany, in a Spanish Civil War, and they were used to a certain extent in the early phases of the Blitzkrieg in Poland and France, and it was also exported to China, which is interesting because China was at war with Japan and Germany gave the Chinese tanks. So next one by the chronological order is the Panzer II. It was really important tank in the early phases of the war, and 8.9 tons, a bit better, 30mm frontal armor, side armor between 15 and 25 millimeters, armed with a 20mm gun and a MG34 machine gun. Secondary armament, powered by a 140 horsepower engine, 40 kilometers per hour. These are some basic data I need to get through with every tank here. Was kinda the main light tank of the early war period in France, in Poland, in North Africa, so on. It was also used by Hungary, and also the British and the Russians, the Red Army, used captured ones in quite decent numbers. And the next one is the Panzer III, the backbone of the German army in the early war. Was used in France, Russia, North Africa. It was then towards mid-war. It was gradually replaced in its role by Panzer IV. It was it weighs about 23 tons. Front armor up to 70 millimeters. Side armor between 30 and 50 millimeters. 50 more towards the later models. And it was armed early on with a 37 millimeter gun, then was later replaced with a 50 millimeter cannon, which was kinda the main anti-tank gun that Panzer III had, and also it was armed with the short 75. As you see in left-right corner on the photo, there were also versions of it with a flamethrower. That is pretty nasty if it finds you. Was powered by 300 horsepower engine, 5 crew members, 40 kilometers per hour top speed, and was, as I said, the backbone of the German armored forces in the early war period. Used by some Axis nations allied to Germany. Romania, Hungary, Slovakia used them, and USSR captured Panzer IIIs. Also Finland, the Finns got some. Then its replacement, in a way, Panzer IV, that replaced the Panzer III because the Panzer IV chassis allowed for more upgrades, more improvements, and so on. But funny enough, back to Panzer III, Panzer III chassis was used in Stugs throughout the entirety of the war. Fun fact, Stug, from all the German armored vehicles, has the largest has contributed to the largest number of destroyed Allied tanks, and for quite a large margin. So this is a fun fact here. Back to the Panzer IV, a 25 to 28 tons, about 80 millimeters of frontal armor, side armor 40 to 50 millimeters. It also had side skirts. Then later in the war to protect against shape charges. Early on, it was armed with a short 75 millimeter, and later it was armed with a long 75 KWK-40, L43, and then later L48 gun, which was a really powerful gun for the chassis. It gave it the firepower edge over slight firepower edge of quite a lot of Allied tanks. It was powered by a 300 horsepower Maybach engine, about 38 to 40 kilometers per hour top speed. These speed numbers are very dependent on terrain and weather. Panzer IV was the main German tank until really late on in the war. It was any major offensive, any major action done by the German army, hard on the ground, hardly went without a Panzer IV without Panzer IVs being involved in it. It was in Kursk, in Stalingrad, in Normandy, and so on. Many theaters. It was very versatile tank, reliable tank. Uh, Compared to the later models, it was cheap. It was used by Hungary, by Bulgaria, by Finland, by Spain after the war, by Romania, and captured ones were used by USSR and the Yugoslavs. Then the Tiger I is, I'm going with Tiger I next because it was the next development tank that hit the battlefield. I'm not looking at when the development started, but when the tank first rolled onto the battlefield of the Second World War. So by this, Tiger was before Panther. Is a heavy tank, famous heavy tank, 75 tons. Compared to other tanks at the time in the war, was enormous. Immense amount of armor, 100 millimeters at the front, 80 at the side. If you remember from the Panzer IV, Panzer IV had 80 millimeters up front, armed with the famous 88 millimeter KWK 36 L56 gun, 5 crew members, a 650 horsepower Maybach engine. It was able to go quite good for the size of a tank, 38 kilometers per hour and about 195 kilometers range. Is as misconceptions go about German tanks reliability, the Tiger I was actually on a good side. Yes, was complicated, but it worked, but it was harder to maintain because you can see in the interlocking road wheels on the track, if something is wrong and you need to replace the inside wheel, you need to take down two road wheels to replace that one in the back. Things like that make it really complicated to maintain, but overall it was a reliable tank. It was quite feared by the Allied tankers, which is understandable. A big powerful gun, it outranged anything before any other tank could come even close to being able to threaten the Tiger with their own armament. It saw major action across all fronts, and it had famously high kill counts in battles, especially in Kursk, where open terrain, flat terrain allowed it to engage Soviet armor at long ranges. It was other nations that had them were captured by the USSR and Britain, and USA tested them, never used them actually in combat. The one in top left corner is the famous one in the Bovington Tank Museum. That was actually its turret ring was damaged by a Churchill, and crew bailed out, which also I can point out that as good as a tank it is, still has weak points that could damage the tank, that could incapacitate the tank Also the crew panicked, you know. Crew inside are still humans. They can panic, get scared, bail out, do stupid things, you know. It's not all just robots inside that the machine is not going to care about what is happening outside the machine. So yeah, this is a interesting part. Let's go to the Panther tank. Kinda registered officially by the Germans as a medium tank, but really is a heavy, leans towards the heavy tank side. 45 tons, about 80 to 120 millimeters of armor. Is 80 millimeter stick, but is sloped, so it makes it effectively 120 millimeter. Is side armor is 40 to 50 millimeters, and on the turret is 45 millimeters of side armor. Is armed with a 75 millimeter KWK 42 gun, L70. Had a Maybach engine with 700 horsepower, 46 kilometers per hour top speed, introduced in the 1943 Battle of Kursk. You know, that's a debut. You cannot make up. Imagine it's your first time ever playing football for the American soccer, and you get thrown at the World Cup to play the game. Yeah, it won't go through well, as it did with Panthers. They were breaking down, being thrown in the largest tank battle in human history for their first ever combat deployment. Although it showed excellent firepower and armor at Kursk, a vast majority of them broke down on the way to the battle. A lot of them hit mines really early on, so they didn't so much affect from Panthers in Kursk. Captured by USSR. Funny enough, they were used after war by France. Also Hungary had them. As you see from this, how many different these German tanks were used by Hungary and not by other German allies in Europe, at least. How much Germany trusted Hungary more as an ally than anybody else. Then the last one, King Tiger, 69, 70 tons. Probably the deadliest tank of Second World War that you can come across in battle. Frontal armor 150 millimeters, front turret 180 millimeters, front glacis. This is the top front of the whole armor. Here is sloped as well. So yeah, it uses the long 88 millimeter KWK 43 L71 gun. It's a high velocity version of the gun used on the Tiger I. Yeah, as if it needed to be even deadlier. 700 horsepower engine. It had top speed of 35 kilometers per hour, which isn't bad for a big boy like this. 170 kilometers range. It was first used mid 1944 it was unmatched, as expected by anything on the battlefield. Probably the first thing that you could say that came out from other countries that could compete with it was the IS-3 at the end of the war from the Soviet Union. But the IS-3 had the same gun as the IS-2, and the IS-2 struggled to take out the Tiger II at any significant range, while the Tiger II, yeah, didn't struggle a lot. Its biggest enemy were its own mechanical issues. Its engine was underpowered. Transmission was constantly breaking down. So probably more Tigers 2 were taken out of the fight by their own transmission than by the direct enemy action. And by the lack of fuel. Towards the end of the war, Germany struggled to fuel the tanks, fuel Luftwaffe, because of the Allied bombing. No other country really operated them, but they were captured at the end of the war by USSR, US, Britain, France for testing and stuff. Then those were the German army tanks of Second World War. Of course, that was not the only armor that Germany used in Second World War. As you can see here on screen, in left top corner, a half track, and then bottom right is a Stug, as I said earlier. When I was talking about Panzer III, it uses Panzer III chassis, the most effective vehicle against the Allied armor Germany used. I'm also going to detour a bit away from the main topic here. Towards the end of the war, my opinion, Germany should adopt more asymmetric approach. Focus more at things like Stugs like Stug and the heads are here on the screen. They are much cheaper to produce, much simpler to use. Use them in ambushes, use them in things like, yes, as I said, ambushes and so on. Try more asymmetric approach so it isn't directly going tank to tank, but we are lucky they didn't. The Nazi Germany lost, that was conquered, and yeah, this is my video on some German tanks. I know there are a lot of different variation of those tanks. I mentioned just the basic models, a slight mention of the flame-throwing Panzer III earlier, and so on. There are many versions of these tanks. You have command tanks, you have a lot of these tanks chassis were used then in for other vehicles like self-propelled guns. As you see here in the middle of the screen, the Yak Panther used Tiger I hull, and I'm sorry, the Panther hull, and mounted an 88mm gun. So I might talk about more specialized vehicles of German army in different videos. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share the classic YouTuber spiel, and see you next time. Thank you for your time and patience with me. I'm trying to do better a bit with these videos. I'm learning, so sorry if some things sounded unclear, but thank you again. See you on the next one.